So asibuke nayi i-transition metal chemistry under inorganic chemistry. Ngiwasendile futhi lama notes lawa simplified lapha egroupini. I hope ukuthi abantu bane access ku. Alright, so lana ke sesikhuluma ngama transition metals most importantly. Sikhuluma ngalama metals lawo siwathola la siwabiza ngani ngama transition metals. So we won't be looking at any other things such as ama reference element lawo, but siwasifocus kulawo ama transition metals. So ama transition metal sithi ama deep block elements. So basically siwabiza ngama deep block elements. Lawa siwathola la siwabiza ngani ngama S block elements. Lawa siwabiza ngani ngama P block njalo elements. But ke sisazobona ukuthi kususelwa konke lokho, but what we'll be focusing on is wona ama transition metals. So na into ebalekile ngicela singayizibi nayo into ama chemical properties. Ama transition metals, they have the following chemical properties. Ama transition metals, they are good catalysts. So ama transition metals are catalysts. So it means they can speed up reaction rates without them being used up. Another thing, they form ama colored compounds. So mawuzobona nje i-compound ene transition metal phakathi. Most of them, they are usually colored compounds. So they are the ones responsible for ukufoma ukhala in a compound. And another thing, they've got different oxidation states. Sazoyibona nayo they affect, but basically they don't exist with oxidation state hey1 pair. Are important lama properties with theory njengoba umntwana ngebuza kanjeni. We must master them. And also they form ama complex ions. Ama complex ions is basically lama coordination compounds whereby a transition metal ihlangana nani ne ligand. And all of these facts siwabuka one by one to say ukuthi mathi ama good catalyst, how do they work? When you say they are colored compounds, how do they work? But first of all, let's get to how we define ama transition metal. So we say ama transition metal, those are the deep block elements that form one or more stable ions with partially filled or incomplete desorption. Na into ebalekile lana kuma transition metal, we need to know ukuthi they form one or more stable ions. Remember, ama ions siwafoma when we remove or when you add electrons angisho. But for ama transition metal, we are always removing ama electrons. That's why ama ions wakhona ne charge a positive. So always a transition metal mozoyithola i-ion yakhona isuke ne charge enjani a positive. So now those are stable ions and they've got partially filled. Most important thing is partially filled. What is this thing doing? Alright, most important thing is that ama transition metals, they've got partially filled, normal incomplete desorptions. They've got partially filled or incomplete desorptions. So masity they are partially filled, it just simply means ukuthi maswenza electron configuration yawo i-desorption, the last desorption esoba nayo, it won't have all the electrons. Remember ukuthi ama desorption they carry 10 electrons in total angisho. So yona it will be partially filled or it will be incomplete. So this is what defines a transition metal. So whenever they say define a transition metal, this is the definition or 7 side. Deep block elements, they form stable ions, they've got partially filled or incomplete desorptions. Those are the facts that make up a transition metal. But in this section, we focus only on the first row transition metal, which is uscandium, titanium, vanadium, until sizesifika copper. So we say zinc, it is placed under a transition metal, but it is not a transition metal. We'll see ama reasons for that as well. Zinc is not a transition metal. So we say basically ama transition metal esiwabukayo is basically these ones. And we say that zinc is not a transition metal. We have to answer that as well. It was part of the test now. So when we look at that, other things, ama physical properties, just to siwabambe, they form ama metallic bonds. Basically, ama metals, when they bond with other elements, they form ama metallic bonds. This is due to ionic size. Basically, ama ions wabo, they are small. And the other thing, they've got ama higher melting and boiling points, and they've got also high densities. So in Tebalele, transition metals and melting points are high. They also have higher densities, higher boiling points. For example, here you can see with him, potassium, okay, this is potassium, this is group 1, potassium. This is calcium, group 2. And then you get transition metal. This is the first role. Scandium, so 1.4. So this is melting point in degrees Celsius. For calcium is for potassium is only 63. For calcium is only 850. But the moment singena lagma transition metal for scandium, sizesifika cobalt. You can see with it they've got melting points anjani are high. I don't think you have to memorize these values, but just note they've got high melting points and boiling points than other elements, and as well as densities as well. Melting points, boiling points, densities higher, but those are just properties. Now into electron configuration. If you don't know how to do electron configuration, you're hardly gonna survive when it comes to transition metal chemistry, because most of the things we are doing in electron configuration. Remember, electron configuration is number 1s kanjena, 1s2, 2s2 kanjena. Remember, when we are doing this thing, we'll actually be filling electrons, ukuthi awungaka electrons. Bese senza njani? Siyawagcwalisa kulama subshell. So i-rule esisebenzayo to fill up with electron configuration, it is known as the Hans rule. So Hans rule is the rule that we use to fill orbitals with electrons as now. For example, hydrogen has got only 1 electron. Sizoqala simfake kubani? Ku-1s. So basically alandelana kanjena orbitals according to Hans rule. So we start with filling U1s with 2 electrons angisho. Silandele U2s with bani? 2 electrons. Mawuthi akhona. And then U2p simfila with how many? With 6 electrons. U3s 2 electrons, U3p 6 electrons, 4s 2 electrons, 3d 10 electrons. So basically S subshells, S orbitals, we fill them using 2 electrons. And then p orbitals 6 electrons. And then d orbitals 10 electrons. So for our first row elements, lawa sobuka ku, angeke sidlule 3d. That's why I cut it short kanjena to make things simpler. So, masgcwalisa again, you should note this, that when you are filling u2p nabo 3d kanjena, njengoba sino 2p kanjena, sithi it can hold 6 electrons angisho. So basically orbitals wakhona for u2p, it will be something like this. It will be 1 2 3. So for u2p so orbitals awungaki? Orbitals awu 3. And maswagcwalisa, we use the exclusion principle angisho. We say uthini so gcwalisa lawa with the upper spin first angisho, and then silandele nawapi nalawa with the downer spin. Please, I'm not just talking this for fun. It's very important because mase swenza pairing nani, you must understand what's going on here. So i-Hans rule esisebenzayo to fill electrons in this order. So now electron configurations for our elements, starting from scandium until zinc. You can see scala no 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, and 3d. So, sigcwalisa electrons lawa siwathatha up. You just go to your periodic table. Uyabuka ukuthi i-element isuke electron awungaki. For example, if you go to the periodic table and you go to scandium, u-SC uzombona lapha ku periodic table, ubhalwe u-SC, uzobhalwa u21 phezulu kanjena. So leya 21, which is the atomic number, uyi number of electrons ekumele njani uyigcwalise kulama orbitals. So make sure ukuthi you don't guess any other electrons besides the ones found on the periodic table. For example, scandium has got 21 electrons kanjena. So we're gonna fill them up. 2, 4, and then this is 10, this is 12, this is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20 plus 1, 21. So period. So in class singahluli wenza electron configurations. That was part of question 2.1. Making electron configuration mayingahluli. So for the rest of the elements, the rest of the transition metal, we use Hans rule to fill them up. But for chromium no copper, these two, we don't use Uhans rule when it comes to lo 4s no 3D. So copper no chromium, maso wagcwalisa. We're gonna start with 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. But masifika lana when we reach lag no 4s no 3D corner. What we are actually going to do is what? So now let's just look at it on a blackboard. So basically, masobuka ucopper periodic table. In number ebhalwe phezu copper laphaya, what is it? It is 29. So phezu copper, it is written 29. This means that copper has got 29 electrons. Copper lo neutral, ungena charge. In how many electrons? 29 electrons. So when we are filling the order, remember Uhans rule uticity 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, and then 4s, 3d. So for the first orbitals, sizogcwalisa with the normal order to say ukuthi here, since we've got 29 electrons, we're gonna put 2 first here, 627 angisho. Another 2 here, another 6 here. So this is 2, this is 2, this is 6. That's not 10 angisho out of the 29. And then again, this is another 2, this is another 6. That's not 18 electrons. That's what God is saying. Now, when it comes to U4S no 3D, this is what you do. Remember, according to Uhans rule, kumele uqale ufake la ku4s ufaka ama electrons awu2 angisho. And then with 3D you put 10 electrons if they are available. But for copper, instead of putting 2 electrons here, you are only going to put 1 electron. And mawufaka 1 electron, layers 2 wenza njani? The rest you put them kubani? Ku 3D. So la ku4s, you must only have 1 electron. For copper no chromium, la ku4s mawube no electron oyi1 phela. Don't put 2 of them. So Uhans rule, the one that we use to fill, we only exclude it kubani, copper na chromium. Angish. So basically 4s1. I'm sure that is 18, so this is 19. Ulo 29 when we remove the 19 that we already filled up then. So sala no ban, no 10. So the 10 electrons will be filled with 3D. So this is the electron configuration of copper or neutral with no charge here on top. This is neutral copper. So 1s2, 2s2 kanjena. So basically, mind here, uthi lana ku4s only put 1 electron. Then the rest uwafake kubani? Ku 3D. Put only 1. Now chromium same applies. Chromium UCr, when we look it at the periodic table, chromium UCr phezulu, the number of electrons there is 24. So chromium or neutral has got 24 electrons. Now we do the electron configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Once ungafika la ku 3p6, the next thing, la ufika la ku 4s, do not put both electrons awu2. Ansho lana vele sesifake awu18. This is 18 electrons angisho. And thina sinawungaki in total 24. So how many do we have remaining? 6 electrons. So kuleyo 6 la ku 4s vele ufake a1 kuphela. Then the other 5 uyifake kubani? Ku 3D. So this is an exception for copper and chromium to say uthi when we are doing Uhans rule to fill up our orbitals, lana when we reach at this point, for copper and chromium, we're only going to put 1 electron in each 4s orbital, and then the rest swafaya kubani ku 3D. Hence, we'll have the electron configuration ekanjena. This is our electron configuration for bani, for copper. This is the electron for chromium layer, and then this one is for copper. So that's the difference. So one of the questions that was there in the exam, so why is the electronic configuration of copper? So to our electron configuration of copper is given by AR 3D10, and then 4s1. Now, Tiwa, why is it this and not not copper is equals to AR, not copper is equals to AR 3D9 for S2. So this answers the questions. Do you see Uti? Lana, in the first scenario, basically lo AR lawyer is argon, it just represents ama electrons awungaki awu 18. Shuthi kahle kahle lana, this whole 18 electrons we replace nobani no AR. Then you write the remaining things there. So maubhala electron configuration of copper. This one is the correct one. This is the correct electron configuration. Why is it like that? It's because when we reach ku copper na ku chromium, sine exception enhance rule. We don't as 2 electrons. We don't put 2 electrons like 4s. We only put 1 electron. Then the other one we promote it to ubani to U3D, so that this thing will be in a stable electron configuration. So when you are answering question 1.3 lapho uthi, why is the outer electron configuration of copper this instead of that? You are going to say uthini, basically you don't choose Hans rule when you are doing copper nobani no chromium. This means uthi la ku 4s you only put 1 electron. We don't put all 2. The other electron, it is promoted to ubani to U3D. Why are we promoting it to U3D? It is to maintain a stable state configuration. 2 marks. Yeah, we are trying to maintain a stable electron configuration, and we can only do that for copper and chromium. We can only do that if we take the electron lagu 4s singawubhali wonke awu 2. Eli 1 silipromote silifake kubani u3D. So that explains uthi lana kwamanye you do the same thing, uqala ufake u4s ufaka 2 electrons, but for copper and chromium make sure that you do what, you make an exception for Hans rule when it comes to that. So this answers a 1.3 there. Now once we are answering the questions one by one, this is the concept, this is the correct configuration. So siyabona ngisho seku copper na chromium, don't make a mistake of putting 4s2 electrons first before ubani, before 3D. First put 4s1, then the other one promote it to ubani, to 3D. So wazi ukwenza lokho ngisho. Yeah, please ngicela sibambeni kanjalo. Now that we understand what electron configurations are, we can move and say the Hans rule does not work for chromium and copper. Yes, the Hans rule does not work for ubani, for chromium and copper. So a Hans rule works for everything else with exceptions for chromium and copper. Those are the exceptions. So you cannot use a Hans rule with chromium and copper. And we have explained how we work with Hans rule there. And then now let's look at why do we say zinc is not a transition metal. Remember, I evoked a statement at the beginning, certainly zinc is not a transition metal. Why sisho kanjalo? Remember, we said we define a transition metal as a d-block element that has got 1 or more stable ions with partially filled d subshell. Should say d subshell of a transition metal, yonke transition metal in its d subshell, we want it to form an ion that is what? That has got a partially filled d subshell. So for instance, ingabi na 10. Remember, it d subshell igcwala ngaki na 10. So we don't want 10 electrons in the what? In the d subshell. So now masibuka lana for zinc, when we look at its electron configuration, the electron configuration for zinc according to what we have here, inobani, this is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, this and this and this, and then lana this is 3d10 if we cannot see carefully here. This is 3d10. And so I want to say u3d wethu unjani lana ugcwele. So even when zinc is going to form an ion here, when it's forming an ion, u3d wayo will still be full. The zincate ion that you're going to have. So that's one of the reasons. Others may look at copper, but remember copper is an exception and Hans rule. So we focus more on saying zinc. And for us to have a transition metal, we must have something that will have a partially filled. It must not have 10 electrons like 3D for us to say it is a transition metal, according to the definition. So that is one of the reasons that you're supposed to mention to say ukuthi zinc is not a transition metal. Yep. For zinc 2 plus, yeah. Yes, okay, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons. So this is reason number 1. That was 2 marks to say why is zinc not a transition metal. That was what? That was 2 marks. So this is one of the reasons. The D-sub shell in Jani, it is fully filled. That's the first thing. It violates the definition of the transition metal. Now, let's look at the variable oxidation states. Remember, one of the properties of a transition metal is that anani, they've got variable oxidation state. Which when you say a transition metal, a fixed oxidation state. For example, oxygen, we know that when we oxidize oxygen, when we remove when we add an electron from oxygen to oxygen, oxygen will become O2 minus. We know that, but it's always like that. O with a negative charge. There are exceptions, but most of the times, these other metals, other elements on the periodic table, they've got a fixed oxidation state. So when you remove, when you add an electron, you can only add a specific number of electrons. For example, hydrogen, what can you do to hydrogen? You can remove 1 electron. The charge will come H plus. H2 plus. You won't find H3 minus. Although sometimes hydrogen can be H minus, but those are rare cases. So we say other elements, they've got fixed oxidation states. But for other transition metals, you can find copper plus. You can find copper 2 plus. So you've got a cuprous as well as another ion. I don't know, cuprous and another one, they've got names. But it's no copper plus, it's no copper 2 plus. So do you see they don't have the same oxidation state? Copper will lose 1 electron, or it can lose 2 electrons when making a bond. So basically they don't have fixed oxidation state. They've got variable. It means that the oxidation states change continuously. For example, scandium has got only 1, but we still classify it as a transition metal. Basically, scandium, it can exist in other states, but they are not important. They are not mentioned. Okay, at least in this slide, they are not mentioned. But scandium is still a transition metal. Titanum, Ti, it can be Ti4 plus. Ungamthola Ti4 plus, or you can find it as Ti3 plus, or you can find it as Ti2 plus. So it has got different oxidation states. Vanadium plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. And it keeps on increasing until manganese. Manganese has got the most. So the first point you can say that manganese has got the most oxidation state. Manganese ungamthola manganese 2 plus, 3 plus, 4 plus, 5 plus, 6 plus, or manganese 7 plus. But the most frequent one is 2 plus, or 4 plus, no 7 plus. Those are the most frequent. Yawana Lao highlighted in red are the most frequent ones. But manganese is the most oxidation state. So basically, when you move from left to right, oxidation state, they do what? They increase until they reach a maximum manganese. And then when you continue moving, they will decrease until they reach the minimum with zinc. So basically, you can see here we have FeCONi copper. Copper is no copper 2 plus, no copper 1 plus. So basically, zinc it has a fixed oxidation state. That's another reason that makes us to say zinc is not a transition metal. We say to transition metals, one of their properties, they must have any variable oxidation states. They must have oxidation number ahlukile. Like for example, manganese 2 plus, manganese 3 plus. But zinc has got only 1 oxidation state. Zinc in a compound, it only exists as Zn2 plus. It cannot exist as anything else besides that. So zinc 2 plus, that's the fixed oxidation state zinc. Angeke umthole uzinc zinc 3 plus noma zinc plus or anything else. It's always zinc 2 plus. So that's one of the reasons it is not a transition metal. So that's what makes the 2 marks. 1 mark, why is zinc not a transition metal? 1 mark, you say it has got fully filled d subshell, the one that we did, Anish. And then the next one is zinc has a fixed oxidation state. You say I was ubana oxidation state besides ubani plus 2. Zinc can only lose 2 electrons when it forms a bond with any other element. So I hope we get the reasons why we say zinc. So hence we say zinc is not a transition metal. Now this is what I want to emphasize on. Now our electron configurations, let's not make a mistake. When you remove our electrons, our electron configuration wako, you are going to remove our electron agu 4s first. You remove our electron agu 4s. So 4s basically has got a lower energy in a sense than 3d. So basically we say when you are ionizing, when you are removing an electron from a transition metal, you qala ngawapi nalawa akubani aku 4s. Don't start with the 3d, start with the ones in the 4s. So electron configuration yakho, let's not make this mistake because most people make mistakes when it comes to electron configuration. So when it comes to electron configuration, which mistake can you possibly make when it comes to our ion? Let us take copper. Copper is written 29 according to the periodic table. So copper on neutral, normal copper that doesn't have a charge, copper ngena charge at all, has got 29 electrons, right? Now, if I'm going to say, what is the electron configuration of copper plus? Copper plus, sengenzeni lo copper on neutral, I've removed 1 electron. This charge suggests to say, I've removed 1 electron. I've ionized copper by removing 1 electron. Now I can say you have oxidized copper. You have removed 1 electron. Now, don't make a mistake of going and say copper versus 29 minus 1 and you say it's 28 versus the electron configuration. Leyo nto leyo izokulahlisa kakhulu. Do what? When you have got copper with a charge, write the electron configuration of copper. But now let us compress it. Sivele sibhale ubani u-AR. We're going to write noble gas configuration. Remember, AR represents 18 electrons. So once ngabhala AR kanjena, fanele sengibhale ngaki 18 electrons. It's a noble gas configuration. So lana I've got 29 electrons in total of copper. And I remove 18 by just writing ubani AR. How many do I have remaining? There are 11. Remember, this 11, after AR, we have got U4S and U3D. You can write them in any order, U4S and U3D. But for copper, we have an exception, remember, Ngish. We said, you see, for copper, we are only going to put 1 electron in the 4s orbital. And then the rest is for U3D. We put 1 electron out of the 11 SL. I'm sure let's keep 18 layer AR. So out of the 11 SL, it's 1 done. So 10 will go here at the 3D 10 subshell. Now, to make the electron configuration of copper plus, I'm going to remove 1 electron. But lagu 3D, I'm going to remove it from U4S. So the 4s orbital is the one that loses an electron first when you remove an electron from a what? From a neutral compound. So let's remove the 4s oyi-1 wakhona. So sala nento kanjani? This will be AR and then this will be 3D10. That's the electron configuration for copper plus. Don't do this trick of saying 29 minus 1. Because now 29 minus 1, you remain with 28. Upale u-AR wakho. Okay, upale u-AR wakho. And then again, uleyo 28 kusale 10. Bese ke leyo 10 oyi-1 uyifaka ku-4s. The rest uyifaka ku-3D. It's wrong already. So if you're going to write something like this, upale u-AR and then uthi u-copper plus wakho, it is equals to AR and you write 3D9 4S1 gajen. Wrong. It's very wrong and it's not recommended. Please, let's not do this mistake. Let's not make the mistake. Okay, make sure that whenever you are finding electron configuration of something in a charge, make sure you find the electron configuration when it is neutral first. Then you will remove electrons. Starting from where? Starting from the 4s electrons. The electrons in the 4s orbital. Don't remove one line because this is different and it will be wrong. Trust me, Jay, and you'll be like, Kanjan, when I've done the right thing. So make sure that when you remove, be careful there. So, copper 2 plus, manje, you are now removing from this copper plus again. You are removing another electron. So, keep a lego 1310 because now you don't have any other choice. O4s agaseko now. So, you can remove one electron from here and it will require a lot of energy. So, this will be 3d9. This is copper 2 plus. So, you have done a successive removal of electrons. Ukipama electrons ngoklandelana. Make no mistake, please, guys, this is a trap. Please, don't even think of saying 29 minus 1. Sometimes in but please, don't even think of 29 minus 1. Because I'll be heartbroken minutes after explaining so long, and then people still say 29 minus 1 and they write this wrong. Make sure you write any configuration of the initial thing first. It's a neutral. It's a 29 njengoba. And then imau keep ama electron. Ukalapi starting from the 4s electrons. The electrons in the 4s orbital. Mthemba clear lokho nako. Yeah. So basically, let's continue here. So basically, that's how it goes. For example, here we've got UTI. This is we want ukala ngoTI onjani or neutral. How many electrons does it have? You write the electrons. And then now when you are removing UTI2 plus, you remove 2 electrons from ubani, from LTI. Uzokala ngawapi, lawa ku 4s. You take out the 4s electrons, you remain with ubani, you remain with U3D2 kanjena. Ma uzokhipha omunye to form UTI3 plus, so uzokhipha electron eli1 and elizosala la ku 3D, there is no other orbital. Uzosala ku ubani, 3D1. You do the same, Ti4 plus, you remove 1 electron from this, say 3p6. So this is now a noble gas configuration. You cannot remove any more. Once nje ungafika la ku 3p ogcwele kanjena, this is argon configuration, you cannot remove anymore. That's why oxidation state aphela la kubani ku4 plus for Ti. So you can successively remove them in this order. So make no mistake when it comes to this. So please make sure that you practice electron configuration because yonke into yabona, this is 666, 18 marks in this question paper. They were based on electron configuration and oxidation number. That's each and every question you had to do that. So now that we know electron configuration, we can look at another characteristic, another property of transition metal. They form in colored compounds. So transition metal, they form colored compounds. Basically, if it is subshell, how does a compound end up having a color? Because when you go to the lab, you're gonna see different compounds with different colors. So if a substance has got a transition metal, it's possible to izoba colorful noma ibe colorless. Alright? So when the D subshell, if D wako egcwele, so if it is full or it is empty. Remember, when it is full, it means D wako has got 10 electrons in it, right? Because D occupies a certain amount of electrons, 10. Or if it is empty, that is D wako has got 0 electrons. We don't have D subshell in the electron configuration. Only when that is the case, that's when you can say that the compound will be a colorless compound. So a compound yako angeke ibe no color if when the D subshell is full or it is empty. How are you gonna see that? You can only see that when you do any electron configuration. So basically everything electron configuration. But when the D subshell is partially filled, meaning in our electrons, but they are not full, they are not empty. Maybe you have got U3D wako has got 4 electrons. A compound that will have this transition metal NO3D4 will have color for the fact that D subshell is partially filled. So these are the conditions that are seven side to determine color. So to determine a compound is colored or not. Number one thing, find the electron configuration. And then after finding the electron configuration, try to find out D, is it fully filled or is it partially filled? Or is it empty? That's when you can decide on the color. So now let's just take the question that was there. This is VNH3COSO4. It is a colored compound. It's a fact. Prove that. 6 marks. Okay, it's fine. Let's just say 3. It's only one compound. Not scare people. It's fine. So now VNH3COSO4. Now that's a compound, man. You just don't have into a one. Yabo. Please, let's be careful on one thing. Mass no H2O ganjin. When you've got H2O, something like this. When I've got H2O, the oxidation state, no matter the charge of hydrogen lan, eating is plus. Ungati hydrogen neutral. Actually, hydrogen neutral lone. This is hydrogen ion. Once remember, silama ion lawa they form only when we are forming ama compounds. So once on a compound, kumele wazi ukuthi ingxenye noma lama elements walama compounds atholakala lapha anama charges. But lawo ma charges ayenza njani? Ayakhanselana. Into yakhe banjani? Iba neutral. So oxygen, it is what? It is 2 minus. So lo 2 lower hydrogen na lo this is positive 2, this is negative 2 angisho. It will cancel off to give you water onjani on neutral kanjena. But ungakhohliseki uthi njengoba I neutral kanjena hydrogen wami I've got 1 electron. No. Hydrogen wakho has got a charge there. So how can you find the charge? You find the oxidation number, because oxidation number is practically the charge. So lapha we are given a compound, and the compound is inikeziwe lana, it is V, and then it is NH3. This is a complex, this is a coordination compound, and then it is carbon, carbon monoxide or something. Then close, it is SO4. It is SO4, and then so this is a colored compound. How can we prove Wuti this compound will have color? How can we prove this compound will have color? Number one thing, in technologies, remember we said the transition metal, it is the one that is forming in the color. Chuti, you must find out what is the electron configuration for the what? For the transition metal. And for the case of a coordination compound, siyazi the transition metal, this is the transition metal. And if you look from the periodic table, that is vanadium, you find it after titanium, and it has got 23 electrons. So vanadium or neutral, V, which is neutral, has got 23 electrons as a neutral element. But when you see UV bangampalangi charge, then it doesn't mean it doesn't have a charge. The fact that UV, it is in a compound, it exists in a certain oxidation state or with a certain charge. Calculate the oxidation number. The oxidation number is over your any charge V. And then using that, you find the electron configuration. Let us start. We want oxidation number V. Oxidation number NH3 is ammonia, it's a neutral ligand. So this is just 0. Oxidation number of CO, CO in carbon monoxide, if I'm not mistaken. So CO carbon monoxide is a what? It's a neutral compound as well. The charge is 0. Because it's a neutral compound. Just like with H2O, the charge is 0, the net charge, totally out. And then with SO4, this is sulfate. This is a sulfate ion. This one is an ion. So this is not a compound, it's a negative ion. So what is the charge there? -2. Because with SO4 masimbala, it is SO4 2 minus. As the men wabamba ama charge of polyatomic ions. If azokhulu kwabamba, a simple way it is to remember a compound enayo SO4. Yabo, njengo H2SO4 kanje. This is a compound enobani eno SO4 phakathi angisho. Bese yakhumbula ukuthi kahle sinabo H abawungaki abawu2. And OH ba positive, should ba balance I charge engaki e2 minus. If uzokhohla, if wenza ukhohla charge. If ukhohla charge ka PO4, you know you have got H3PO4 as the common acid. You must know them very kanjani. So you know this is covering each charge kabani ka PO4. So this is PO4 3 minus. So try to know the charges of polyatomic ions. And then the total charge of the entire thing it was 0 because lento le i-neutral asinayo i-charge ephezulu kwayo yonke i-compound angisho. So this is 0. So in essence uvanadium lana i-oxidation state yakhe ubani +2. So this is the oxidation number. Shuthi kahle uvanadium esinayo kule compound akusuye uvanadium o-neutral, uvanadium onjani OV2+. And now we go to electron configuration. Electron configuration, sithe don't make a mistake of saying 23 minus 2 angisho lana. What do? Find the electron configuration of V. Electron configuration, so bhala AR for the first 18 electrons angisho. So this is 23 minus the 18 electrons. We remain with 5 angisho. So kule 5 electrons esele sino 3D sino 4s. Remember uvanadium sinayo exception uvanadium? No. Uvanadium sivele sigcwalise u4s with 2 electrons first, then the rest sisifake kubani ku3D. So 4s2. So the rest here, the remaining is what? Is 3 electrons. Right kunjena ngisho. So ubani uvanadium onjani lona o-neutral. Wena unovanadium 2+. Lo 2+ indicates which this is a vanadium ion that is coming from uvanadium. Yini esiyenzile kuvanadium ukuze sifiyelana? We've removed 2 electrons. And when we are removing electrons, remember it says the 4s electrons first. So the electron configuration of vanadium 2+ will be Ar3D3. Now, once you find the electron configuration of the transition metal in a complex, you can determine the color. Remember the criteria certain. When the D subshell it is fully filled or empty, it's a colorless. But my partially filled, it will be a colorful compound. In this case, Noban 3D3. Is this fully filled or partially filled? Partially filled, because Melet Kosanangagi na 10. So what does this tell us about this compound? It is a colored compound. It has got color. So this one is a colored. So this is a colored compound. So the compound lena, it will have a color. It won't be colorless. For the mere fact, you will see low vanadium, the transition metal which is vanadium here, it is existing in an oxidation state 2+. And according to its electron configuration, the D subshell is partially filled. You give a reason for your answer because it says give a reason for your answer. So you must say, therefore, this is a colored complex because the 3D subshell, it is partially filled. Normally, it has got only 3 electrons. And show uti uqolisa 10. So 3 out 12. So we're just gonna say 3D is partially filled. That's the reason. So that's how it rolls. Is it that hard, bro? It's not hard. In the master tip here, it is to find the oxidation number and find the electron configuration. Nai compound yakon. This is the compound, and this is the color of the compound. It has got color. So we have proved that using the theory. So let's look at this one. Extracted May 2025. Predict which of the following compounds will be colored in an aqueous solution. We'll only take one of them. There are 6 marks. We'll only take one pair and do it. The rest you'll do it on your own. So that is question Bani. That is question 2.2. Predict which of the following complexes will be colored in an aqueous solution. So are colored when you put them in a solution, right? When you mix them with another solvent. Mautata leo transition metal, we dissolve into another solvent. It will produce the color. So which one do you think we should do here? 1, 2, or 3? 1, or 2, or 3, 1. Yes, we won't have time. Okay, at least 2, 3. 2. All right, it's fine. Let us do this one. Got 2. U2 here. Let's just write here on this one. U2 we are given K. This is K, and then this is Cu. This is C2O4, and then you say determine whether it's colored or not. So for you to, what produces color in a compound. It's a transition metal. So find what is the oxidation state of the transition metal in this particular thing. So learn the oxidation state. Let's just do that on a whiteboard so that's was bonagash. All right. So on our whiteboard here, we're just going to do that and say we have got K, and then we have got copper Cu as the transition metal. We've got C2O4, and then now. So when the main aim is to determine any oxidation number kabani ka copper, because that's the transition metal. That's the one that will produce color, provided the D subshell is partially filled. Now, let's now look at the oxidation number. As Kalen, okay, remember oxidation number, you add everything. Don't only look at this. Mawubuka lokho, you'll be doing coordination number. Mawuzobuka into engaphansi kwe square bracket. Mawubuka lokho, you'll be doing the oxidation number. You look everything else, you edit a charge Y. Then you give the result. We start with potassium. Potassium is +1 and the potassium is no 1 here. And then now copper, it is the one that we are looking for. Oxidation number of oxalato ligand is 2 minus. I'm sure you know that this is coming from oxalic acid, H2C2O4. Relama ions lawa, they are coming from what? From acids. So once you know acids, just remove labo H and put a charge. Just donate the proton and then put a charge. So obvious, this one will be -2. And the sum of this is equals to 0. Obviously, you can see this is neutral. I find that when I want to learn each charge, I can say 3+. It's a complex ion. So the sum of this one will be 3+. But this one, it is 0. So now this is 1 minus 2, and that is going to give you -1. So copper here, when you transpose the -1, is going to give a +1 oxidation number. So now oxidation number kabani ka copper. So it means copper lana in this compound, we actually have got ubani copper plus. We have got copper plus. Now remember, we go back to our periodic table. We look at copper. Copper has got 29 electrons. So basically, when you look at periodic table, you're gonna see copper with 29 electrons, the neutral copper. Don't say -1. I repeat, I don't know for how many times, or repeat exact session, please. Mistake. So this is copper. Do electron configuration ga copper is going to be AR. AR representing ama electrons are 18. So will 29 remove 18, you remain with 11. So lo 11 uno 3D uno 4s. Uno 3D, and you also have got 4s. But remember when we are doing the Hans rule, for copper we've got an exception again. What do we say about copper when we are doing Hans rule? We only put 1 electron kubani 4s. So we only put 1, then the other one we're gonna promote it to that. So the remaining one would be 10, because 11 in total after removing this 18. And then now copper plus means we are going copper plus electron configuration of copper plus simply means we are going to remove 1 electron. And when we are removing, we start nobani 4s. So the 29 minus 1 is those biases. So this is going to be AR, and then this is going to be 3D10. So this is going to be our configuration for copper plus, 9 electron configuration for copper plus. So now electron configuration. Now you look at the color. For the color, you look at ubani D. Now D. This is 3D. Siyambona ngisho. 3D weight, is it full or is it empty? It's full because it must have 10 electrons. So can this compound have color? No. So this will be a colorless compound. So therefore, the compound is colorless. Give a reason for your answer. Remember, it says give a reason for your answer. You say copper plus or ion acetolayo in this compound. It has got fully filled the subshell. 3D wayo una 10 electrons. So we can say it will form a colored compound. Is it hard? There you have it. So that's how we work with Carl. Everything is depending on electron configuration, Lan. Everything. Even magnetism, that's why I clamped them together and so that is alone. In magnetism as well, depends on electron configuration. Basically, when we are talking about magnetism, we are talking about with a compound yakho, is it attracted to an external magnetic field? If sizothatha i-magnet siyibeke lana, sithathe i-compound siyibeke lana, are they going to be attracted to one another? Sayabona ngisho. So that's what we are going to be journering about here. Magnetism. So some metals are magnetic, some metals are not magnetic. Sayabona ngisho. So this is also due to the electron configuration. So for you to determine the magnetism of a particular substance or a particular metal, transition metal in this context, you need to know electron configuration. So we classify into diamagnetic substances. All diamagnetic substances, they have no magnetic moment. So what is magnetic moment? But in a physical sense, they don't have an attraction to a magnetic field. So muzo tata a compound is diamagnetic. If you want to take a transition metal that is diamagnetic, you put it next to a magnet, it won't be attracted to that magnetic field, that external magnetic field. So we say it's known as a diamagnetic. So since this is due to the electron configuration, electron configuration magnetism, or what is that we find in the electron configuration that shows us this is a diamagnetic substance? It is the pairing of the electrons. So all the electrons are paired. So when all the electrons are paired, what does paired electrons mean? It just means you have got one electron with an upper spin, one electron with a down spin. Let us take, for example, helium. Helium has got 2 electrons. Now, helium has got 2 electrons. Helium has 2 electrons. When we compute electron configuration, we have got 1s2, 2s, okay, not 2s, it's just 1s2. And when we want to draw this, remember these are orbitals, we can draw them, Manish. So let's draw this subshell, or let's just draw this orbital. The orbital got 1s in 2 electrons. So when you fill them up according to the Pauli's exclusion principle, you fill with one going up and another one going down. So when it is like that, our electrons anjani are paired. They are paired electrons. So are paired because our electrons, we have 2 electrons in an orbital. Since they are unpaired, one is an electron in the upper spinning pair. So this one, helium, would have to be a diamagnetic substance, a diamagnetic helium, a diamagnetic noble gas. It is diamagnetic, it doesn't have any attraction. Because lama spins lower, they cancel each other. You know that in quantum physics, our matching in physics, we'll see each and every one has got ubani, 1/2 is the what is the spin. Mawaya phezulu positive, mawaya ngezansi negative. So they just cancel out. So once you've got all paired electrons, their spin magnetic quantum number just cancels out. Now this thing won't be attracted to anything. So so this thing won't move, this thing won't be attracted. We say it's a diamagnetic substance. So let's catch the word diamagnetic. For what? For all the electrons are paired with electron configuration. For example, zinc. Zinc, how are we going to see all the electrons are paired? Let's just go back to our electron configurations, the one that we've been doing. This is zinc. Zinc is 1s2, 2s2, 4s2, 3d10. Kanjin. Because the fact that we have moved from 1s to 2s, it means so ungasabuki phela uthi u1s unjani what bukala ekugcineni to say the last ones here at the last portion, do we have any unpaired electrons? U4s2 means uthini we have got 2 electrons in the 4s orbital. Obviously es orbital takes how many? It takes 2 electrons. So for zinc, s orbital would be something like this. will have 2 electrons. And then u3d10 usho ukuthini? We have got 10 electrons in the what? In the 3d subshell. In the 3d orbital njani? Yeah, it's fine. Whatever you may call it. So when you're gonna write that down, obviously sizodweba ama orbital awu5. Remember ukuthi for u-D we draw ama orbitals awungaki? Awu5. So for u-zinc, remember it was giving us u-AR with u3d10 and u4s2. So when we want to draw these outermost orbitals, what are we gonna do? For u4s level to their paired ngisho. For u-zinc, for u3d, u3d will have 5 blocks kanjeni. Actually it's 2 electrons each to make up 10, so kumele abe u5 blocks. So according to the exclusion principle senza njani? Sigcwalisa lawa aya phezulu kuqala. Make no mistake lapho, ugcwalise lawa aya kuphi? Aya phezulu. Ungathi 10 minus njengobona u3d10 noma mhlawumbe uma ungabona 10 no3d8 usithi 10 minus. What? No, don't do that. Just fill them up. Be patient. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All of them are paired. We don't have any electron ezihambela yodwa. We don't have any electron moving on its own. So we can say uthini? We can say to all the spins they will just cancel out. Zinc will be a diamagnetic metal. It's a diamagnetic transition metal. So it cannot be attracted to a magnetic field. Ma ungathatha zinc and you put a magnet next to it, it won't be attracted. So let's not make a mistake there. And then paramagnetic. Paramagnetic usho ukuthini? They are weakly magnetic. They are weakly attracted to a magnetic field. Shuthi are attracted wona. Abanye sebangaphandle. Are attracted wona, but they are weakly attracted. Awekho attracted kangako. Sayibona ngisho. Weakly attracted to a magnetic field. So the thing about that is because they've got any unpaired electrons. Once ungaba nama electrons are unpaired like this, ube ne electron eli1 eliya phezulu, because you cannot have one electron spinning down because qala ngala waya phezulu. So never have a case with one electron eya ngezansi. So when you've got something like this is an unpaired electron angisho. So it's injani lento lena? It is paramagnetic. So basically it has got a magnetic moment, noma it is attracted to an external magnetic field. Hey, aze ngafisa ngaphandle. Yathi ziyakhala. Okay, lithium for example, we sacrifice pleasure, temporary pleasure, we sacrifice it for greatness, yabo. So let's just sacrifice a bit. Ngolunye usuku nathi siwasijive. Alright. So lithium for example has got 3 electrons angisho. So electron configuration it's 1s2, 2s1. Shuthi ku 1s you have got 2 electrons. And then this is 1s. Ku 2s you have got 1 electron. So this electron ayina umngana ngisho, it doesn't have any spin opposing it. So this is a paramagnetic. Hayi yinizulu ngedrum. Phela. Alright, paramagnetic unpaired electrons. Ferromagnetic cishe efane no paramagnetic nayo, but yena sithi they are strongly magnetic. Ngale sithe weakly, la sithini strongly magnetic. So it means ukuthi paramagnetic weakly mawuzomfaka eceleni kwe-magnet uzodonseka yena kancane. Weakly, yabona when there is a weak attraction, you know there is nothing permanent. But for a ferromagnetic, there is a strong magnetic moment. Say strong magnetic. Okay, there is strongly magnetic. So there is a bigger attraction between you and the magnet. So when you put into a ferromagnetic, eceleni kwe-magnet, the moment usondeza nje, quick, doesn't take time. So strongly magnetic, same reason they have unpaired electrons. Yep. Sisiyobona sesokala kanjani. Khona indlela yokala. But upara weak, ferro strong. Sayabona ngisho. So now how to even measure? Now to answer your question, hey, Kuyenze ukuthi ngihlezi nginempendulo zembuzo. Now, magnetic moment helps us to determine how strong the attraction is. So the magnetic moment number, it's a calculation that we do, and we measure it in BM, Bohr magnetron. Bohr magnetron. So we use it to calculate in order to determine how strong a magnetic attraction is. When it is strong, when it is a big magnetic moment, that's when it is it's a ferromagnetic. Now, how are we gonna see that? Basically, when you've got only one unpaired electron, it's paramagnetic. Okay, at least for what I think is right. Okay, at least for what I have a mark for. I don't know which is the standard, but for at least for Dr. Mtsweneng's standard, one unpaired electron, paramagnetic. Angazi u2 because the question bengena 2, but ngazi u3 no 4 ferromagnetic. How? Thank you so much. Yabona kumnandi ukuthi so abantu babe engaging eclass yethu. Ingikhuthile leyo nto angizwanga nje. So basically so izile standard angisho 1 2. Mauna 1 unpaired electron kwi-configuration yakho or 2 unpaired electron paramagnetic. Maune lonto njani mauna 3 4 5 6 and more unpaired electrons. That's when you can say it is what? It is a ferromagnetic. So here's a formula that we are going to use when you want to calculate the magnetic moment. We use this symbol n square root of n into n plus 2. So to be able to find the magnetic moment, you only need the number of unpaired electron, or n. So to do that, you must do electron configuration again. When the electron configuration, we are doing lama blocks to try to find out how many unpaired electrons do we have. Then again, we have a number of unpaired electrons here. Then you find the what? The magnetic moment. So a magnetic moment is that quantity that helps us to determine what is it strong. If there are no unpaired electron there, we know it is diamagnetic. We don't have any magnetic moment. It's zero magnetic moment. Zero Bohr magnetron. So, okay, example. This is potassium, MnCnO2O4 kanjeni. Uthiwa calculate the magnetic moment. Yini enza ukuthi i-compound ibe magnetic? Still, we go back to the same thing. It is the charge of the transition metal. Kumele ubuyele futhi oxidation number, electron configuration, then draw and try to find out how many unpaired do you have. So lento le electron configuration. Hence, I was emphasizing a lot on common mistakes that we might do there. So please, ascend. So they can say spin only magnetic moment still suggests the same thing. Now, let's do this one as Nayolana as an example, then probably pick one and go to the next thing straight there. Because we're almost done with inorganic forever and ever. We are saying bye to it today. So, Lana, we have been given, okay, this is K, this is manganese Mn, and then this is Cn, cyanate, all right, this is O, this is C2O42. Okay, calculate the magnetic moment. So, mawufuna i-magnetic moment of this, kumele uthole ini oxidation number of the transition metal. Iyini transition metal yethu lana? Mn nang transition metal. That's manganese. So asitholeni ka manganese. Ka potassium go obvious sesiyaza ngisho is group 1 ngisho. So it's 1 plus 1. Manganese it's unknown. Right? Cn cyanato from cyanide, ubani, Cn minus ngisho. So that's going to be -1. Oxo, oxygen, is a fixed oxidation state. Ithini konje? -2 ngisho. And then C2O4 -2 nayo. It is an oxalato ligand. Yabo. So please know the times 2 lana. Also, this is times 2 because we've got 2 of abo oxalato. Yeah. Then this is 1 minus 1 gone off. Minus 2 minus 2 minus 4 minus 6. So this is going to be Mn minus 6 is equals to 0. And of course, when you transpose that, Mn will be plus 6. So this is the oxidation state kabani got Mn. Oxidation state of a transition metal angeke abe negative. You must always get a positive oxidation state because transition metals, they don't tend to receive electrons. Okay, so it means that manganese is taking 6 plus as the oxidation state. Remember, manganese is the most oxidation states, different types, but in this case it is taking ubani Mn 6 plus. But remember, to find electron configuration, when don't say Mn, they say, okay, as Mn according to the periodic table. Mn, manganese has got 25 electrons in it. As a neutral manganese, 25 electrons. So Mn 6 plus, it means we are going to remove 6. So I'm going to say 25 minus 6 up higher. No, wrong. Don't do it. We do electron configuration ga Mn alone. So lo AR lo ya just means we are removing 18 electrons from ubani, from lo Mn. So from lo 25, when you remove 18, that's going to remain with bani 7. And manganese, does it have a special case? No. U4s ovele sifake u2, u3d sifake ukusalayo u5. It's fine. Ngapha lo 3 don't know 4s kuqala. Makes no much difference. But preferably balo 3D color, so 4s must be the one that loses first. So Mn6 plus, we want to remove how many electrons land? 6. So you're gonna start now 2 all ngaphandle ngisho. Kusala ngaki 4. So le 4 so ikhipha kubani? Kulo 3D ose. So we remove 2 here, we remove 4 here. So this is going to remain with UAR with U3D 1. So this is the electron configuration of manganese. So now you've got the electron configuration of manganese, which is the transition metal. It is the one ezokusiza ukuthola phela ukuthi i-magnetic moment ingakanani. Now u3D 1, u3D una 5. The outermost, just write the outermost. Ungabhala abo 1s2 bagcwele bonke labo. 1s2, 2s2, all of them are full. As long as ubhala AR kanjena, it is full up to u3p6. Then the next one, U3D, has got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when we fill them up, so this one has got 1 unpaired electron. Therefore, to find the magnetic moment, we're going to say magnetic moment there is going to be the square root of n into n plus 2. Try to use len or square root. Mawuzothi to the power half, omunye umuntu uzofaka n ngaphandle. Calculate ikhiphele enye into. So make sure that just put the square root yonke into ibe phakathi. So lana to find nangu ke micro wethu n, which is the number of unpaired electrons. How many unpaired electrons is now lana? Is 1. So this is going to be the square root of 1 into 1 plus 2. And then so tolubani 2.87. Is it 1.73 Bohr magnetron? This is the unit. And then again, now you conclude. You must conclude with something. Don't forget to conclude. Therefore, these compound. Okay. If they ask, is it paramagnetic or diamagnetic? You'll conclude that one. Okay, Lana, we're just calculating. But here you can just conclude and say, this complex that we have here, it is a what? It is paramagnetic. Why? It has got 1 unpaired electron. That's the reason. It is in a mark. Trust me, they're going to penalize if you don't put the reason there. So is it going to be difficult? So do you see 6 marks? 6, 6, 6, 18 gone. We have defined transition metals, 2 marks. We have explained why zinc is not a transition metal, 2 marks. We have explained why electron configuration ga copper ikanjalo, 2 marks. We haven't explained it as proportionation pair. Shutilana, we have 18 plus 6 already. We have 24 marks out of 35. So let's just explain the remaining things. Otherwise, portioning, I won't see eating electron configuration. So if you are struggling to understand this, focus more on what you know. At least we hope ukuthi Dr. Mtseneng will do us justice afake okuningi njengowenzele kule test, but in essential that's how it works. So that's what you'll be probably doing for everything. So here, taking the May 2025 again, this beautiful test here, considering these coordination compounds, you can go ahead and find out here. Lana very the compound can. We found out UV where so O2 plus and oxidation number, and then you do any electron configuration. Siyenzile lana UV NH3. So we can try to look back at it and say we see. Now we found out UV2 plus angisho kule compound lane, and then this is electron configuration ya V2 plus. Once uthole lokhu ke lana besibuza ngekhala ngisho, that's why bovela ukuthi u3D ugcwele noma ugcwele. Now sibuza ngemagnetic moment, you draw a 3D abangaki abawu5, you fill in 3 electrons using the exclusion principle. You start with the ones that are going up. So we have 3 unpaired electrons. The magnetic moment will be square root of 3 into 3 plus 2. What do you find there? 3.87. Khona ngikremile yini? Hazi 3.87 yini ngikremile? Ya yona. Ngikreme zona but. So 3.87 for magnetron. Shuti, therefore this compound is what? It is, this is triangle, ferromagnetic angish. And then the reason it has got 3 unpaired electrons. You're done. So that's how easy it was. Now let's just look at the disproportionation reaction. When we say something is disproportionating, hey, the word disproportionation, hey, something like that. Yeah. So what is meant by this? Lana, you have got a compound A1, normal metal A1 jan, and Leo metal, it is going to give itself. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's just write it here because give itself doesn't sound. So let's just take an example so that we can explain it better. You have got copper plus LAN. You have got ubani or copper plus as well. So assume this is just a substance in ama copper plus ions amaning kanjeni. And then now what will happen? It is disproportionation reaction is a type of a redox reaction. So must be redox, it means one is oxidized, one is reduced. Should say one is donating an electron, another one is receiving an electron. But why is I using a redox and just using a disproportionation? It is because the same compound, it is donating to itself. And they say the same metal is donating to itself an electron. So snabo copper plus, many copper plus ions in a substance. So one of the copper plus ions here will do what? It will give an electron to the other copper plus. So there is a transfer of an electron. Normally there is a donation of an electron. So we are transferring one electron from this to this. So this one is being oxidized. This one is being reduced. This one is a reducing agent. This one is an oxidizing agent. Remember that. So basically here, mass keep electronally 1 go copper plus. What are you going to remain with? Copper 2 plus angish. Remember, we are removing an electron line. We affect the charge. Angish. So from copper says nobody, from copper plus says nobody, copper 2 plus. We removed 1 electron. Now we gained 1 electron angish. So that is going to be Bani. Or Cu, we put 1 electron line. Electron is negatively charged. This positive charge just means there is an excess 1 proton. So the electron, the minus and the pass, they'll just cancel out, it will be neutral. So neutral copper is a metal and it exists in solid state. These ions, they must exist in aqueous solutions, of course. So basically when they write it, they will write as 2 Cu plus, and they write Aq for aqueous solution because this is happening when you mix it with something else. And then now this will give you copper 2 plus. All ions remain in aqueous solution. There is no solid ion in the world, but the neutral ones are solids. So here we have got one substance that is acting as an oxidation agent, oxidizing agent, and also as a what? As a reducing agent. So when you explain the disproportionation reaction, this is a redox reaction. Number one thing, is a redox reaction. That's the first thing. This is a redox reaction. Number one. It's a redox reaction in which one metal, one ion, whatever, one substance, that one substance, it is acting as what? Acting as both, I'm a keywords now, you just combine into a sentence. Acting as both an oxidizing agent, and reducing agent. Shuthi lana, a compound A1, in this case, ion A1, which is copper plus, which is cuprous ion, if I'm not mistaken. So cuprous ion, it is acting as both an oxidizing agent because it is what? It is receiving an issue. And it is also acting as a reducing agent. It is because it is giving. So that's why you can see this is a reaction whereby it gives itself. But don't use that English. It's kind of me trying to make you remember. But say, please make sure you mention this redox reaction. One, it's a redox reaction. We have got one compound acting both as an oxidizing and a reducing agent. And then obviously to produce what? To produce substances with different oxidation states. With different oxidation states. So this means ukuthi njengoba manje uCu plus njengoba ezinika electron kanjena, it is going to give us two different oxidation states of copper, because this one will be a Cu2 plus, this one will be Cu solid. So we can get a solid from, that's how liquids form solids. And just nokubona in experiments when you combine two liquids, bese yabona le nto iyaqina kanjena. Hey, sometimes that is what's happening. So you've got copper plus, and then you combine them, they will make solid copper from the mixture, and they'll also make copper 2 plus ions. So they produce substances with different oxidation states. That's how you do it disproportionation. This is an example of a disproportionation reaction. So that's how you get the 4 marks. So plus 4 to that 23, verse 9.